Hey guys, Ryan Smith with the Ryan Smith Home Selling Team here to talk today. If you're buying a house, like how do you know if you're buying a house that has been cheaply flipped, right? How do you know if somebody didn't just buy it, put in some shoddy work, and then try to offload it onto you? Well, there's a few things to look for. Let's talk about it here next. Buying a flipped house right now? Well, I know some of those are very, very attractive, but you could be in for a wild ride. Not everybody takes the correct steps in buying and fixing up and flipping a property. Some people are just after the quick fix and sometimes the shoddy work to try to make a buck. So how do you know for sure that the flip you're looking at buying has been worked on correctly, right? That the work's been done well, that there aren't going to be issues later. Well, there's a few signs I think that we should look for, or that we can look for to make that process or make that property, like if you're qualifying it out, to make sure, hey, this is not a house or a property that's been flipped poorly, right? So one of the first things we want to look for is, did they pull building permits, right? So if they pulled no building permits while they were flipping the house, that is a big problem, right? It means that they're, by having the permitting done, it's telling us that there was at least a certain level of workmanship that's been done, and it's been checked to make sure that it was done properly, right? If there have been no permits pulled, then it very likely means no one came behind them and checked those things, which could be something that they're trying to cover up. So make sure they pulled building permits. Number two, check for fresh paint in certain areas, right? So a lot of times if people are just trying to quickly flip a property, they might not actually fix some water damage or problems that are there. They might put fresh paint, just kind of paint over everything and then hope you don't notice, right? So if you see fresh paint in certain areas where it looks a little off or where something doesn't seem just right, pay attention. Maybe they just used that fresh paint to cover up something that's actually there that you need to be aware of, right? Number three, I would look for if they've mismatched plumbing and faulty wiring. This is normally not a very good thing, and it could lead you to run into problems later on down the road. So I would be sure that I'm testing switches and outlets throughout the house, making sure everything works properly, that there's no concerns there, and just make sure that everything is in proper working order like that. Sometimes people will hodgepodge things together, and maybe that'll work for a little while, but you could certainly run into issues later on down the road if they didn't do that correctly. Number four, check and make sure that they didn't do a shoddy job on the cabinets and drawers, right? So sometimes, you'll see that these things are kind of misaligned or not properly put together, or sometimes they'll even just slap paint over some cabinets and issues that are there in the cabinets and stuff. So we just want to make sure, are the drawers all working good? Do the cabinets line up properly? Does everything, look kosher in the way that you would want it to with the cabinets, right? Another thing to look for is just flooring inconsistency. So, look at the floors. Does the height of the floors and the trim, does that all match up and look correct, right? Are there huge gaps, right, in the floor, or like bubbles throughout the floor? You just want to kind of look for things with the flooring that is either mismatched or out of alignment or just doesn't look quite right. And that could certainly be an indication that they cut a few corners when it came to installing your floors. And then finally, just checking for faulty doors and windows. If they're sticking, if they're not opening and closing properly, that could lead you to want to ask some questions. Okay, why will all of our doors not shut? What's going on there? It could be some kind of settling that's going on at the house. There's a number of other issues that could be there that have just been covered up. And so you just want to pay attention to that. Make sure your doors and windows will open and shut smoothly. I think it's another just great little thing to pay attention to, just to make sure you aren't getting bamboozled into a house that's going to have problems for you later. So hope this has been helpful for you. Once again, I'm Ryan Smith Home Selling Team. We're always here to serve you and help you. You're real estate experts of choice here in Central Texas. Check us out on the web. That's ryansmithhomes.com. Once again, ryansmithhomes.com, or give us a call, 213-5335. Once again, 254-213-5335. We appreciate you very much. It's an honor to serve you, and we'll see you in the next video.